So some might ask, Henry, when are you going to do a Shavuot message? Well, every time I get on this YouTube channel and speak about Israel's return, salvation, all of that, that's exactly the Shavuot message. And Christians insist on calling it Pentecost when it's actually Shavuot only because their King James Version or whatever version they're using, they have it written down. You don't go and do your research. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to point out to you that when the Jews celebrate Shavuot, beginning on the day that they celebrate Shavuot, because they celebrated on several days, this was the Shavuot message. The 104, who are the 144,000 and the innumerable multitude? Your preachers are liars. Yes, your preachers are liars, and I will prove even more to you today that your preachers are liars, and I'm going to show you some things that you didn't see before. We're going to start back in Revelation 7, where you Christians and your preachers deceive you. I showed you extensively in that particular video. You might want to go back and watch it again. And after I saw these things, I saw four messengers standing on the four corners of the earth, north, south, east, and west, and holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor the sea, nor any tree. And I saw another messenger ascending from the east, having the seal of the living Elohim, not God. It is blasphemy to replace his name with another name. You need to understand this. And he cried out with a loud voice to the four messengers to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our Elohim in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which were sealed. And there were sealed 144,000 of all of the tribes of Israel. Yet the churches, some of them, want to try to claim that they are not Israel. And then the ones that do say, oh yes, they are Israel, they want to say that the tribe of Dan is not included. Well, right here it says every tribe of the children of Israel. That would have to include Dan. And Yochanan did not speak this incorrectly. A scribe wrote it incorrectly. Whoever the scribe was. If you are a Jew, you know this to be true. That when the 12 tribes of Israel are listed, Joseph is one tribe. That means Ephraim and Manasseh are counted as Joseph. You cannot have the tribe of Manasseh, is what it's supposed to be called, not Manasseh. Okay. And the tribe of Joseph at the same time. It doesn't work like that. The tribe of Joseph is the tribe of Manasseh and the tribe of Ephraim together. There you see your error. Then you see a great multitude which no man can number. Now you will say that these are Gentiles. That's not what it says. And if you read Acts 2, you will realize that's not what it says. Now, are there Gentiles going to be included in this great innumerable multitude? Yes. But the vast majority of them are going to be of Israel. But how does it say no man could number out of all the nations and kindreds and peoples and tongues and stood before the... You would say that that is a you would say that is not the case. Well, let us go to Acts 2, Shavuot, not Pentecost. Okay? Look it up for yourself. And on the day of Shavuot was fully come, and there was all with one accord in one place, and suddenly there came a sound out of the sky as a rushing mighty wind, and filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues as of fire, and it sat on each of them. And they were all filled with not the Holy Spirit, not with the Holy Ghost, but with the Ruach Kodesh. And began to speak with other languages. Languages. Listen carefully, because they're going to explain what is meant here. As the Ruach, not the Spirit, but the Ruach gave them utterance. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. So what happened was, men, Jews, who lived in, and it says exactly where they lived in. Persia, the Persian Empire, Medes. Elam is also part of Persia. And dwellers of Mesopotamia, that would be the border of Iraq and Persia today, Iran today, and Judea, Cappadocia, Pontus, that's in Asia Minor, and also Asia Minor, where the Romans have conquered. Phrygia, another region in Asia Minor. Pamphylia, a province in Asia Minor. And in Egypt, and in Libya, and in Cyrene, the city of North Africa. And, not strangers, that is incorrect, where their homes were in Rome. Both Jews and proselytes. Well, what is a proselyte? See, this is where I'm telling you that the vast majority of these were Jews, Israel, and then some Gentiles. Proselyte in Hebrew. A convert. A foreign resident living, in other words, in the Jewish tradition, it means the word is ger tzedek. This refers to a full convert to Judaism who accepts all the commandments. So these were non-Jewish. Now, so ger toshav, meaning resident alien, this was non-Jewish resident who did not fully convert but agreed to live under the community's protection and obey the basic more. We're talking about ger tzedek. So this is talking about Jews who were natural born Jews and converts. also of the island of Crete and Arabia, not Arabians, but Arabia, who did hear them speak in our tongues. Oh, so we will read it. And there were those dwelling at Jerusalem, Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. So when we look at this, they were, not only were they, mass majority were Jews, but they were also proselytes. Okay? So this great multitude, which no man can number, out of all the nations, kindreds, and peoples, and tongues, were Jews, lost house of Israel, and converts. Folks, okay, so we will go to Ezekiel 36:24. Okay? I will take you from among the Gentiles and gather you out of all the countries and bring you in your own land. What part of that do you not understand? Now, so then we will go to, I believe it's either Isaiah 4 or 14. I'm going to try, I think it's 14. I tried 4 the last time and it wasn't correct. I don't think it was. Let me see how good my memory is. Yes, this is it right here. For Jehovah, not the Lord, will have mercy on Jacob and will choose Israel and set them in their own land, and strangers, ger what? Ger Tzedek will be joined, and they will attach themselves. They will be grafted in, as it is written in Romans 11, to the house of Jacob. And then other people, and the Gentiles will take them and bring them to their place. That's written in Isaiah 60. And the house of Israel shall possess in the land of Jehovah servants and handmaids. Who will be their servants and handmaids? Those whose captives they were. This is everything that is written in, as they say, the New Testament. The foundation is in what they rudely and disrespectfully categorize as the Old Testament. Now, so, and they were all amazed and were in doubt, saying one to another, "What does this mean?" Others were mocking. "These men are full of new wine." But not Peter. His name was not Peter. You want to know proof? See if we're right here. So I type in, using AI, Peter's name is Cephas. And what did AI say? Exactly, you are spot on. His name was Shimon. But not Jesus, it's Yehoshua. Renamed him Cephas. It's not spelt Cephas because the word is Hebrew. It is pronounced as Kaf or Phas. Okay. So Peter comes from the word deuspater. Deuspater is the pagan idol of the Romans. So do not use the name Peter for Cephas. Let's continue. Standing with the 11, lifted up his voice and said unto them. Now remember, the 12 Talmudim were only allowed to go to the 12 lost sheep tribes of Israel. It was only after a certain amount of time that Cephas was sent to the Ethiopian. You men of Judea, and all of you that dwell at Jerusalem, be it known unto you, and hearken to my words, for these are not drunken as you suppose, seeing that it is but the 3rd hour of the day. But this is which was spoken of by the prophet Yoel. It shall come to pass in the after part, that's how it's spoken in Yoel, says Jehovah, not God. And I will show that to you and prove that to you in just a minute. I will pour out my ruach upon, it says all flesh here, but it says the flesh of your sons and your daughters in Yoel 2. They shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And on my servants and on my handmaidens I will pour out in those days my ruach, and they shall prophesy. I will show wonders in the heaven above, and show signs in the earth beneath, blood, fire, and pillars and steam of smoke. Pillars of steam and smoke. I will show wonders in the heaven above, and the sun. Oh, I just read that. And the sun shall turn into darkness, and the moon into blood, facing. It says or than here, but it's facing. I will show that to you in Yoel 3 in just or 2 in just a minute. That great and terrible day of Jehovah come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall proclaim Shem Yehovah shall be saved. Now, let us go to Yoel, and I will show you that the way I said it was correct, which is why you should never, ever assume that the translations are correct. Yoel 2:28. In the after part, in the following part, I will pour out my, what does it say? Ruach upon flesh of your sons and your daughters, and also upon the servants and the handmaids. In those days will I pour out my ruach. I will set wonders in the sky and in the earth, blood, fire, and palm-like columns of smoke. Timara. Now, Timara looks like nuclear clouds. And indeed, some of them will be. But this particular one of smoke is speaking of the meteors that he's going to throw down on in the abyss, the abyssos of the Mediterranean Sea, which is on either side of Rome, Italy. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood, facing the great and frightful, terrible day of what? Yehovah, not the Lord. Okay? When it comes. Proclaim Shem Yehovah. To proclaim, as they say, the name of the Lord is not going to cut it. Those who proclaim Shem Yehovah shall be saved. Where? In Mount Zion and in Jerusalem. The same place where they had this event, Shavuot, in Jerusalem. This, Cephas was absolutely 100% correct. Shavuot, therefore, is the salvation of all Israel. And graftees, proselytes. Okay? Now what we're going to do, right, and I'll just show you. You see, if some of the branches currently in Paul's days were broken off, and you being a wild olive tree, you were grafted in among them, in and on by with them, and with them jointly, partaking jointly with the Jews. This is how, right here, it says, what was it? Proselytes, Jews, and proselytes. These were graftees. That is how the Gentiles can be saved. That's the only way they can be saved. So, we'll go now to Yoel 3. Now you're going to know the time frame of when it occurs. It occurs when he gathers behold, in those days and that time, I will return, bring back the captives of Yehuda and Jerusalem. I will also gather all the Gentiles and bring them down into the valley of judgment, and will judge them there for my people and my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the Gentiles and parted my land. So because they scattered among the Gentiles, Jehovah is going to gather them from among the Gentiles. That's what this is all about. This is the gathering from among the Gentiles. But there will be graftees among them. When is this occurring? When there is a dispute going on with Tyre, Zidon, and that is happening right now. And with Gaza, the coast of it's not a region of Syria. It is what? Why did they change this? It's a territory on the South Mediterranean coast of Israel. Gaza. Okay? Now, will you render me a recompense? Are you going to deal with me? Are you going to try to undo this? If you do so, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head, because you took my gold and silver and have carried away into your temples my goodly things. The children also of Yehuda and of Jerusalem you sold to the Greeks, that you might remove them far from your border. I will raise them out of the place where you have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. So because they helped uproot the Jews and the people of Jerusalem and scatter them among the Gentiles, he is going to do the same to Tyre and Zidon, that's southern Lebanon, and to the people of Gaza. I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Yehuda, and they will sell them to the Sabians, to a people afar off. Yehovah has spoken it. And what is this going to do? And of course, who is going to do this? The two prophets are going to do this. The two witnesses are going to do this. Because power is going to be given to them, much far, far greater than President Donald Trump could ever dream that he had. So while the United States and the rest of the world are always pressing Israel to do the Gentiles' bidding, the two prophets are going to do the will of Jehovah and bring all Israel back and deport the folks in southern Lebanon and in Gaza. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. This is going to cause the Gentiles to try to invade Israel. And when they do, Ezekiel 38:39 occurs. The multitude of the sea shall be overthrown, like is written in Isaiah 60. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men, for all let the men of war draw near, and let them come. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves, and come all you Gentiles, and gather yourself round about there. Cause your mighty one, cause your champion, Gabor, champion, to descend. To descend Yehovah. I wonder who that champion is. Let the heathen be awakened. Let them come to the valley of judgment, for there will I sit to judge all the Gentiles round about. Put you in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. All right. I don't even know if I can even spell sickle properly. Okay, so we're talking about Revelation 14, verses 14-20, right? And I saw another messenger come out of the temple and call in a loud voice to him what was sitting on the cloud, take your sickle and reap, because the time to reap has come, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. So we go back to Yoel 3. Put you in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Get you down, for the press is full, and the fats overflow, and for their wickedness is great. And you Christians, you claim that the words of the prophets don't matter. This is the reason why You Christians are going to be going to Jerusalem to fight against Israel and Israel's Mashiach. Multitudes and multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Jehovah is near in the valley of decision, and the sun and moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And what does it say? What is that word? Jehovah shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem. Let's go to Romans 11. And 26, and so all Israel shall be saved from the invasion of the Gentiles, because it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, who will turn away unrighteousness from Jacob. For this is my covenant unto them, when I shall take away their sins. You see, folks, in my YouTube videos, I am endeavoring to, and I have done so, completely dismantle the entire Christian narrative of personal salvation only. You see, this is what Christians have adopted. They have changed the names of everyone. They have changed holy days. They have changed everything, including the doctrine of salvation. And I am dismantling every single bit of their lies, using the words that they hate the most, and that is the words of the prophets. Now, Deuteronomy 30 is also Shavuot, but it is also the new covenant. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon you, the blessing and the curse which I have set before you. And believe me, the blessing came and the curse came. But after the curse, you shall return. That's what it says. Return. It doesn't say call them into mind. That's not what it says. It says return in your heart. That's also in your, if you want to return in your heart, you're going to return in your body as well. When you to mine among the Gentiles, where Jehovah Elohim has driven you. So they're going to be gathered back again. And you shall return unto Jehovah Elohim, and you shall obey his voice according to all I command you this day. And you shall. And there's no ifs here. And your children with all of your heart and with all of your soul. Not if. Doesn't say that then. It says Jehovah Elohim will return your captivity and have compassion upon you. So he's going to bring them all back. Everything about Shavuot, or as Christians say, Pentecost, that's what it's about. It's not about their nonsense. Speaking in gibberish, talking nonsense. No, this is what's going to happen on Shavuot. He's going to have compassion upon them and will return and gather them from all the Gentiles where Jehovah Elohim has scattered you. And if any of yours be driven into the utmost parts of the horizon, is what it should say, from there, and using air travel, yes, by flying ships, as it is explicitly written in Ezekiel 60 and verse 8. But you won't read it because you prefer the Schofield and Darby version, which is a lie. From there will Jehovah your Elohim shall gather you, and from there will he fetch you. How? He's going to force the Gentiles to hand them over. How? With plagues. 3.5 years of no rain. by the word of the two prophets, Moshe and Eliah. And Jehovah Elohim will bring you into the land which your fathers possessed, and you shall possess it. And he will do you well and multiply you above your fathers. And he will circumcise your heart and the heart of your seed to love Jehovah Elohim with all of your heart and with all of your soul, that you may live. And Jehovah Elohim will put all these curses upon your enemies, on them that hate you, which persecuted you. And who did this? The Christians and the Muslims. So the Christians and the Muslims are going to receive the curse. Does not say if you shall return. It says you shall return and obey the voice of Jehovah and do all his commandments which I command you this day. Okay? Now, he goes on and on and on. Now, New Covenant, Yeremiah 31, verse 31. The day is come, says Jehovah, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Yehudah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which covenant they broke. So the old covenant is non-existent. He is going to make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Yehudah. And those who participated on that day of Shavuot, written in the books of Acts in chapter 2, had already partaken of that, that's already promised to them, but they went to their graves. They are waiting for the same thing that the house of Israel today is waiting for. When I was a husband unto them, says Jehovah, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. In the after part, as it says in Yoel 2 and Yoel 3, says Jehovah, I will put my Torah. You see that? I know you Christians, you hate that word. I want to rub that word in your nose and in your face. That's what it says right there. Look at it. Torah. In their inward parts, and write it in their hearts, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And they shall no longer teach every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know Jehovah, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, says Jehovah, for I will forgive their iniquity, and will remember their sin no more. Christians and Muslims, while themselves living in sin, this very day, still love to throw the sins of Israel in Israel's face. But Jehovah is going to forgive their iniquity and will remember their sin no more. There's no caveat. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. So, you wanted a Shavuot message? This is nearly every video I do is a Shavuot message. And this is proof. And that's this, the salvation of Israel and proselytes, or as it is properly written, Ger Tzedek, are also going to be saved on that day, and the new covenant be given to them.